Hey guys, Dr. Sheri Walls here, PGY2, resident at Internal Medicine at Piedmont Athens Regional, and I'm here to give you some tips on your rank list. So first and foremost, like what I did for my rank list was I ranked what was the most important for me, which was location, diversity in the population, as well as the staff and the residents, the male and female ratio. If I decided I wanted to do a specialty, whatever that specialty may be, then I looked into the program to see if their residents were joining positions. And then I also looked into seeing if the residents returned to join for faculty. So some of those are the things that I looked for as far as my rank list, as well as how did I feel about the program. So every time I got an interview at a program, not only did I did a lot of back work as far as like being very particular on where I was applying, because as a US IMG, you really need to research, like, are they having, or US IMG or IMG in that nature, do they have any applicants that are from your area, or do they go to the same school you go to? What is their background as far as like did they was there US, do they have visas? For some people that have IMGs, do they take J1 H1 visas? So you did a lot of that background work. So now when it comes to ranking, it's if you really fit into that program, and that's really what interviewing process is about. So when you are interviewing, what I did was I had a notebook that had each and everything that was talked about during that interview, whether that was the information that they gave us, it was who I talked to, what we talked about from each and every person, and then my overall thoughts about the program and the pros and cons from each and every interview. So I actually was ranking as I was going, and I had around, I think, 16, 17 interviews, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but I matched in 2021, but I had around, I know it was like around that. And I basically ranked as I did my interviews. For those that wanted to wait towards the end, what you could do is you can go down each interview, you can go in order from the interviews that you've gotten. And say, for instance, you didn't do a notebook, that's totally fine. If you didn't do a notebook, then you go by each program. You're like, okay, what did I like about this program? What I didn't like about this program? What are the pros and cons of this program? Another thing that I looked at for was not only location, academics, research, diversity, if they were going into fellowships afterwards, and if their residents were returning. But I also looked at if I wanted to be there long term, because my thing is, like, once I place my roots down at residency, I really wanted to stay around that area, or not too far from the area, or stay within the same hospital system. So that was also things I look for as far as like longevity. Like, do they allow their residents to come back? Do they do seminars? Do they ask them to join faculty? Is the hospital is just a standalone hospital, or are there branches of the hospital? Like, say for instance, I want to move back to a certain portion of the city. I looked at a lot of different things because that's what is important to me. When it comes to rank lists, you want to find out what's important to you, and you, not anyone else, not your classmate or anything like that. Of course, if you have family, of course you will bring that with your significant other, but you really want to base off what your rank is, what you want, because at the end of the day, you are going to be there 6 out of 7 days, 10 to 12 hours a day, being on 24-hour shifts, being on call. You're going to be on with these people for at least 3 years, depending on what residency program you're going to be in. So be very selective on what you want to do. So first, find out what's important to you. For me, it was a couple of things, such as diversity, longevity, as far as staying there long term or within the vicinity. Also, the location, if they're doing fellowships, what other if their residency were coming back. So I was looking at things of that nature. And then basically for you is just finding what's important for you. After you find out what's important to you, start doing the pros and cons list. If you haven't already, during your interviews, do your pros and cons list of what's important to you. You are the driver of this boat, okay? So I hope that helps and that gives you a little bit more insight about rank lists, because it's really ultimately where you want to go and where you think you'll fit best and where you think you can blossom. So I hope that was helpful, and thanks, Match Resident. Dr. Walls signing out. Good luck, everyone.